Unlock the path to healing with Exposed podcast. Join us as therapists from around the world break mental health taboos, share powerful stories, and provide insights that transform lives. Tune in, educate, and thrive.
Dharma is a state, it's not an intellectual thing. It's something that can only be achieved through experience.
Hello and welcome to Expose podcast. In today's episode, we have very special expert, Nikita. She's an award-winning entrepreneur of DNC Dance and Yoga Studio and founder of Journey with Nikita in UK. She's a gifted mentor, Dharma coach, and the author of Meditation Through Poetry. Nikita combines practicality with spirituality to encourage insights and introspection, guiding people through the process of healing and awakening on this earth. Thank you so much, Nikita, for joining Expose podcast. It's a pleasure to have you. And we are going to talk about purpose, life purpose, what it is. Thank you for coming.
Namaste. Thank you very much for having me. And as you mentioned, I'm based in the UK and I've been running my own dance and yoga studio for the past decade. And it was, everything was going very smoothly for me. And on paper, it looked as though I had everything, but there was something within me that was not fulfilled. And it was only when I started exploring that's when I realized I had this strong urge to want to help people and support them through their challenges. And more than that, to help them to find their purpose. Because I was very young when I decided to go to India. I was born in the UK and I went by myself at the age of 18. I was a naive, ambitious teenager. And I went on a 10-year soul-searching trip. And it was in India that I was studying yoga, philosophy, Indian classical dance, meditation, and I came across energy healing. And this is where I really found myself and I started to uncover who I am. And that's when I got the idea to set up my own studio. And then 10 years into running my studio, I once again, I felt this void, that something was missing. And that's when I set up Journey with Nikita. And it's a way for me to support people that are going through their own holistic healing journey. I myself have got a chronic health illness. Unfortunately, I was diagnosed with, and I have been using self-healing alongside conventional medication, and it's just worked wonders for me, and it's something that I really want to share with others. So through energy healing and through mindset work as well.
Wow, thank you for sharing your story and almost so many experiences in your life in a few minutes. Now we can stop the show. No. For everybody interested, make sure to follow Nikita on social media. No, I'm joking, but we spoke a few weeks ago about purpose, your new approach toward life purpose. Could you bring more a little bit about what it is from your perspective and how people can find it?
Yeah, so as I experienced, purpose is something that it's like a pull. It's like a kind of niggling voice in your head that will be saying to you, you're meant for something more. You're meant to be doing more. And often we ignore that voice and we think, well, it's not practical for me to do more. I can't change my job. We limit ourselves. And this is not just about job. Purpose is a very big word. In fact, in Sanskrit, it's called Dharma. And Dharma means an amalgamation of everything that we are. So our entire personality, all of our traits, all of our behaviors, all our beliefs, and all our experiences. So I mentioned my health diagnosis. So now I bring that into the forefront of what I do. I bring my education, I bring my skills, I bring all of my qualities, all of my talents, and all of my gifts. And it's about amalgamating them all into a complete offering. So you're not just showing up and you're offering one service, but actually you're being true to your authentic self. So for me, that's what purpose is.
Mm. Did you? Well, nowadays many people, especially young people, have problem with anxiety and finding what their identity, which I think is not a new thing. But do you have any like steps um for young people to find direction and guidance and purpose, what they want to do with their time?
Yeah. So the first thing is to reframe that anxiety into excitement. So it's looking at it from a different perspective. So one side is looking at it like, actually, I don't know myself. I'm really lost. I don't have a direction in life. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing. The state of the world is so bad. There's a recession, there's a global crisis. I don't think I can ever afford a house. And then the opposite side of that is to reframe it into actually, how can I make the most of this opportunity that I've got? How can I use this time to get to know myself? And then once we've switched that mindset and we've started this process, that's when our journey can begin. And that's when I believe things get really, really exciting, because getting to know yourself is such a beautiful process, and it can be done with a lot of patience, with a lot of love, if we take it in that way. So my advice for young people is to spend the time getting to know yourself. Turn your attention from the outside to the inside.
And that's so powerful, as you said, turn the attention from the outside to inside. Mm. I know we talked like over a month ago, a long time ago. Do you actually have some activity, or we can do some meditation with you? If not, that's
Yeah.
okay. I will edit this part and just cut it.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to do a meditation. That's fine.
Mm, all right. So what do you need? How can I help with that? Or just you ready like it is?
Yes. Yeah. So one of the tools we can use to get to know ourselves is meditation. And meditation, I say, is as important as medication. And I mentioned, I've used it a lot and I still use it to this day for my own health, physical health and mental health, because as we know, the two go together. And so what meditation does is it enables us to step out of ourselves and to look at things from a different perspective. We also gain resilience. We also learn how to cope with different situations through the process of meditation. So would you like me to take you
Yeah.
on a journey?
Thank you so much for sharing about how meditation is important, and it shows also in the research it decreases the PTSD and depression, and in my own journey it felt like actually yoga helps more than meditation, like moving, and there is like a certain factor. I think that also that people who have experienced a lot of trauma, the meditation itself kind of makes them more to ruminate, and then when you add the movement, it's a little better. But I always say, try both and see what works better. So would you
Yeah,
like to guide us through some meditation?
love to. So if you'd like to sit up comfortably, and you can just place your hands on your lap, make sure both feet are on the floor, and make sure your back is straight. And you can close your eyes or just lower your gaze. We're going to start by taking some long, deep breaths. Breathing in fully and breathing out completely. Notice the rhythm, the pace, the timing, and even the sound of your breath. Each part of your body starts to soften, and even your face begins to relax. Your mind starts to slow down, and anything that you've been worrying about starts to drift off into the distance. If there are any external sounds, just let them be there without getting involved. Stay focused on your breathing. I'd like you to imagine an opening at the crown of your head. And in this opening enters a bright, radiant light. You can choose what color the light is, or it can just be white. And the light starts to flow through each and every part of your body, to your face, your shoulders, your neck, even your arms and hands, through your back and spine, into your hips, through your legs, down to the bottom of your feet. This radiant flow of light travels through you, filling you up with a warm, positive glow. Enjoying moments of silence and stillness. And then you can start to bring yourself back to the present moment, becoming aware of your surroundings, moving your hands and feet. Slowly blink your eyes open.
And thank you. That was very grounding. Yeah, that's very grounding. Mm.
Thank you. So when we make our decisions related to our direction in life and our path of purpose, it's very important to do this from a grounding space.
Mm.
So often when we are overthinking and overanalyzing, it's because we're using the logical brain. And so there's a difference between the logical brain and the intuitive mind. And that's really what I want to help listeners to understand the difference. So the logical brain is a rational mind. It analyzes, it looks at the pros and cons, and it's there to keep you safe. That's what its job is. It's there to protect you. It's there for you to not get into any trouble. And in a way, it's there to keep you small. But the intuitive mind is much greater, and it's there for your higher self. It wants you to go beyond your limitations. It wants to show you your strength, your power, and your purpose. And so to tap into your intuitive mind, it's really important to spend time every day in meditation, just like we did. I mean, we only did 3 or 4 minutes, wasn't very long. And that's achievable every day.
Yeah. Well, it felt longer actually. But it's amazing how it's like, at least for me, it felt like deeper when I did it with you than when I do it alone. When I do it alone, it tends to be more like the mind of like thinking what I need to do comes up, like, oh, you forgot this. All that things come up. So, but creating the environment is really important. Are your classes mainly in UK, or can you talk about the retreats, and also if you have any online?
Yes, so I have a free guided meditation channel online, so listeners can access my meditations free of charge, and they're all on my website, journeywithnikita.com. You can also follow me on Instagram or Facebook, Journey with Nikita. I do online training and I teach people uh, about Dharma, which is what I said, that is life purpose. So it's really helping people to unravel who they are and to get to know themselves on a very deep level. So we start off with environment. We look at, where do you live? What house do you live in? Or do you live in a flat or an apartment? Do you what car do you drive? How do you travel? What's your preferred mode of transport? What are your personality traits? So we really start to dissect each and every part of the person. So they start this journey of getting to know themselves. And then we explore their beliefs, their limiting beliefs and their empowering beliefs, their behaviors. And then we start to tap into their identity. And then it's only when we amalgamate all of those things we come up with their purpose. And purpose can't be defined in one sentence. If anybody says, my purpose is this, it's not true. Purpose can only be experienced. Right now, I'm demonstrating my purpose to you. Whatever I say is irrelevant. I could sit here in silence right now and I'd still be demonstrating my purpose to you, because purpose is a state of being. Dharma is a state. It's not an intellectual thing. It's something that can only be achieved through experience.
Mm. Wow, thank you so much for all your work. And um, you're also an author of meditation through poetry. Would you like to share with our audience what inspired you to write that book and what's the message
Yeah.
you want?
Yeah, so meditation through poetry is a beautiful compilation of poems that I've been writing since childhood. So I remember going off to the school library actually in my lunch breaks, and all my friends would be playing on the playground, and I wanted to sit by myself in a corner in the library. And I was a very reflective child. So when I was 10 years old, my very first poem was called Peace. And after that, I wrote poems about religion and philosophy and birth and death and life. And my teachers could not believe the quality of the poetry that I was writing, but also the depth of the expression. So poetry's been a theme throughout my life, and it was actually only in 2023, so we were coming to the tail end of the pandemic, and I decided to publish all of my works into a book called Meditation Through Poetry. So it's available on Amazon, and it's to take people and to really give readers an experience of being in the moment, being in this grounded space like you just experienced now through my words. So it's like each poem is like a guided meditation, and it's really beautiful, and people can go back to the one that they resonate with, or they can, flick through and read different ones at different times, because each one has a different message and it will really make them think and reflect on their own life.
It feels like many of those gifts were your gifts,
Yeah.
like naturally, it came naturally for you? Were there any moment when you kind of connected the dots, like, oh, this all makes sense? Do you remember any of moments when you realize this is what I'm going to do, what Nikita is doing today?
Yes, it was actually only very recent that I realized that I need to do all of it. So I used to be confused because I'm a trained classical Indian dancer, I'm a trained yoga teacher, I'm a certified life coach, NLP, Reiki, and I was very torn between them all, and I didn't know where to focus my energy and attention. And each one I was wearing, it was almost like I had a different hat on. And so I was almost enacting different personas. And then it's only when I had this awakening, I realized that actually Dharma is everything. It's all of it. And so it's all of my skills on my CV, it's all of my training, all my education, my natural qualities, my hobbies, and poetry was a hobby for me. And I published it into a book, and now it's touching so many people and making impact. I mean, that could have just stayed as, a Word document on my laptop, but actually it's now reaching people. And this is what I'm encouraging people to do, that, it's not about you, it's about them. If you have a story, if you have a life experience, which we all have, why not share? And you can share through the medium of a podcast like you're doing, a book, a blog, whatever it is that's your medium, through singing, through art, through playing an instrument. It's about having a creative outlet to express your personality.
You go deep in with every question, and it's like just part of you, who you are. It feels like you have so many interesting ancestors. Have you ever done some research on, like, really finding who they were? And
I haven't done any research, but I feel like I am given a lot of information from higher source.
yes.
So
Mhm.
yeah, a lot of the information that I teach in my Dharma trainings are not based on research or fact or findings. Actually, they're just sent to me, they're given to me. So I can't explain it as such. Just like when I write a poem, I feel like it's not me writing, it's the pen is moving, the ideas are flowing. And afterwards I read it and I'm like, wow, that's very good. Like, I can't believe I wrote that. Same with when I dance, I let go. I think that's what it's about. It's about letting go and being able to be a channel or be an instrument, if you like, for the divine.
Mm. Do you remember the moment when actually it became like, you mentioned, it became like like so much easier for you to follow the life force versus like
Yeah.
the before, the time when it was the opposite? Could you share a little bit, because I feel like some audience may resonate with the dark side before connecting with the life force?
Yeah, and that is important actually. Before summer always comes winter, and everything in life is seasonal and everything is cyclic by nature. So if you're going through a dark period right now, it's because there's something better to come. And the quicker you show resilience and perseverance through this period, the quicker the new season will come. If you resist this period, you're actually prolonging the next period to come. So for me, my turning point, the moment, if you like, was when I went through a very, very dark stage of my life, when I had a health diagnosis. I was in my mid-20s and I got diagnosed with a serious lung condition. And I was told that I may only have 5 years to live. And so for me, I went to the depth of my being in that moment, because I was like, well, I felt like everything was crashing down on me. I felt like I was vulnerable, I was fearful, I was angry, I was blaming. I went through all the stages of grief. And it was that process. I isolated myself during that time. I didn't want to speak to anyone. I just wanted to be in my own zone. You know, writing, journaling, expressing myself, but really trying to come to terms with what was going on for me and my new reality. And it's only when I actually went to the bottom of that very dark hole, I was able to then work my way back up. And so if you're in a situation, if any of the listeners here are in a position where they feel they're in this hole, I reassure you that this is only temporary. Everything in life is a phase. You will come out of it. The main thing is to have hope. And really, that's what I'm trying to do with my meditations, my podcast, and my poetry, to give people hope.
Well, thank you, Nikita. It's such a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Is there any other topic you feel in tune, inspired to share, or before we wrap up?
I think the theme of today, I would like everyone to take away, is have hope, as we just said, but also follow your dreams. You know, life is so precious, as we've all learnt in recent years, more so. It's about doing whatever your heart wants to do, whatever lights you up from within. That's your calling. And, you know, we're entering a new time now, we're in a different era. And it's possibly the scariest, but also possibly the most exciting time in history, in the sense that we have a real opportunity here to turn things around. You know, the story that we tell our children and our children's children can be different. We can say, this is what I did, this is what I did to contribute. And it doesn't need to be momentous. You don't need to become the next president. It's about being, you know, in your community, in your family, in your network. It's about spreading positive vibrations to everyone that you interact with, but it all starts with you.
Thank you so much, Nikita. As you were talking, there was this one question came to me, um, and it has to do with relationships. And do you have any advices for some of our audience who might be going through some challenges in the relationship with their significant other?
Yeah. So in relationships, it's very complex because we're working with our own personality, which is already very, you know, layered. So we're all, imagine an onion, it's like peeling away the layers. And then in a relationship, we're also working with someone else's layers, someone else's baggage, if you like, their traumas, their personality traits, their beliefs, their behaviors. And then those two personalities are coming together and trying to merge. And they'll either merge and come together in unity, or they'll clash. And they will only clash if there's unresolved trauma in one person or the other. So if I am going through something and if I haven't dealt with it, or if I've not processed it, and then I try to meet somebody and he's also going through something, then we're both going to clash. And we can't help each other because we're both trying to help ourselves. Like I talked about a black hole. If you're in a black hole, you're not in a position to be resourceful to anybody else because you yourself are trying to get out of that hole. It doesn't matter how deep you are in it. So that's why personal development is so important. And I always encourage younger people, especially in their teenage years, work on yourself first, because then when you are in your 20s and you meet a partner, you're more likely to go into that relationship with more security, a sense of self, reassurance, self-acceptance, all these things that we look for in other people. If we have them in ourselves, then we're more likely to be happy in a relationship.
Mm, that's so powerful what you mentioned, because that really, solves that codependency and any, yeah, like that prevents
Yes.
that happening. And even, I guess, that's my guess. If you want, you can share a little if our audience who might experience already the abusive relationships, can they benefit actually still from all that what you mentioned about self-search, like putting the broken pieces somewhere together?
It's about when you look inwards, that's when you get the tools to be able to cope and the tools to be able to be resilient. You'll be able to see what you should do, what path you should take. You'll have a clearer sense of direction. You'll be able to be guided by your higher self. And that's what's really important, because our higher self knows what to do. It has all the answers. It has the strength as well to be able to take action. It's that we're not tapping into it. We're reliant on the logical mind. And that's why we're struggling. So it's so important to differentiate between the two and then connect with the intuitive mind so we can follow the right course of action.
Thank you so much. Is there another practice or habit you are using in your own journey for creating this self-awareness?
So I use energy healing, as we mentioned. So I'm trained in Reiki, but there are many other modalities, and it's based on chakra balancing. So the chakra system, as you know, it starts from the crown of the head and it goes all the way to the base of the spine. And so what I do every day is a self-healing practice whereby I place my hands onto different parts of my chakras. And I use essential oils actually because the scent is very soothing, and also there's a lot of medicinal properties in oils. And so I actually apply pure essential oils to my bare skin and I send the intention of healing to my chakras. So for example, last week I had to deliver a big speech on a stage. There was quite a number of people there. So every day during the week, I worked on my throat chakra. Just for a few minutes, 3 or 4 minutes, I placed some oil in my hand, rubbed them together, and then just cupped my hands around, closed my eyes, and I really focused on my breathing in this space. And I really sent the healing energy and the intention and the warm, soothing sensation to this area. And I couldn't believe it myself. When I was speaking, it was as if it was a different person. It was so much flow and so much clarity when I was talking. And yet when I had been rehearsing that speech, I was stumbling, I was nervous. And that's the power of opening up the chakras. Each one of our energy channels represents something different. And it's like going on a highway and there's loads of roadworks and you're like, I'm going around this guy and then I'm going around that and then there's a cone there. And that's what the chakra system is like. It's like removing all those roadworks, removing the cones, getting rid of everything. So we've got a straight path. And that's what we want. We want a beautiful line from here to here, going with flow. So the universal life force energy can flow through each one of us.
Thank you so much, Nikita. It was a pleasure to have you. For those who would like to follow Nikita, make sure to how they can find you. I'm going to add actually all the links. And you mentioned...
So I have free guided meditations people can download from my website, journeywithnikita.com, and I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Journey with Nikita.
Thank you again, and thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. I hope you enjoyed this interview, and please subscribe my YouTube channel. For you, it's a one click. For me, it means the possibility to continue creating impact in the world with those videos. Thank you, and see you soon.